Let's dismiss.
Okay, let's do this all over again. What's up? What's good? What is happening? Welcome to the King and Me show. I'm one half of this thing, King. And that's Michelle. Michelle said we look like we just got out of an episode of Divorce Court. How did we not catch that? Man, Free T, first of all, thank you. We've been talking for the last, what,
Like
3 minutes? Oh, my goodness. Y'all, look, we live across multiple platforms with sound this time. Streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, and new, as of today, LinkedIn. Shout out to LinkedIn for giving us the ability to live stream on their platform as well. If you have a like button on the platform, mash that like button, all right? What we said when we were muted, if you couldn't read lips, was that Mondays are typically busy days for both of us. Michelle's been in back-to-back meetings after her school day, being informed on the impacts of our nation's youth, as well as the adults that help get the public education to our nation's youth. Mondays are busy for me at work today, and then we come and do this live stream every single Monday, except for last Monday.
Except for last Monday.
You know, it was Veterans Day.
It was Veterans Day, yeah.
And I'm a veteran.
And you're a veteran. Thank you so much for your service.
You know, you're welcome.
Are we having a show the 2 Mondays that we're traveling for winter break?
We should have a show the 2 Mondays that we're going to be traveling for winter break. The second one might be a little bit more difficult to do.
We'll be on the road.
Because we'll literally be on the road.
Yeah.
But that Monday's possible. It would just take some planning.
Wait, no, technically we're traveling on both of those Mondays.
Yeah, but the first Monday's a lot more easier to do it. I think we could get in, get settled, do what we need to do. Maybe not on multiple platforms, but we can maybe do just YouTube.
Okay. All right. Hey,
you know,
you make it work. I'm just the co-producer.
Word. Hey, y'all. So what we were saying too, because Free T was like, they over there having a good old time and we can't hear a thing. I said, shout out to you as well. And that you had a video that I just watched that was pretty good. We also had an informative. I also had to Google some things too, because you be using words that I don't know what they mean. Tarika's in the building. I called her T Sizzle. Salute to her as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And we getting people rolled up in here. And so she said King is sitting on her. She noticed that. Thank
you.
Wow. So yes, we had to make a change for tonight until the studio downstairs is finished, which should be sometime before 2024 is up. In order to use the mouse and click stuff and not reach over.
He didn't want to reach. I didn't complain. I was fine.
I asked if we could swap for today so that I'm not reaching over, arm extended, all in the frame. So yeah.
It is difficult adjusting to this side because when you've been on one side for over a year.
Oh yeah, and when we do our kiss, it's been on the opposite sides as well.
This is literally the first time in over a year.
You know, change is good.
For whom?
For relationships. Actually, no, change is typically bad.
Like, for whose relationship?
Change is typically bad unless it's managed well, which we're going to talk about today.
Oh, we are.
As our title is called Treat Your Relationship Like a Business for Success. Why did we do this? This ain't just a gimmick. First of all, your boy got a whole MBA from a very prestigious business school. All right. People don't know this because I don't toot my own horn.
But I toot it.
I do sometimes.
I do.
And Michelle's a business teacher, business educator.
With a whole bachelor's degree in finance, master's in public administration, and then that second master's in, the art of teaching.
And in order to successfully complete and get that higher education, you have to go through the program. And if you want to ensure success, you have to treat it like success. Just like in business, if you want your business to be successful, unless it's a nonprofit that's formed for a mission, you still have to be successful. You still have to have a plan. You still have to execute that plan. You still should attain feedback, take a look at, invest in the right things. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Treating your relationship like a business if you want success. And look, at the end of all of the things that we have to offer today,
we're both business owners too.
We are both business owners.
Mm-hmm.
if you want your relationship to fail, don't listen to it. Because I mean, a measure of failure, if it's a marriage, would be a divorce. Can you call a failed marriage if you're just not happy in the marriage?
I would say that if you were defining divorce as being a sign of a failed marriage, I don't think that's fair. I think a failed marriage would be one where two people don't realize that they aren't compatible for one another.
Okay.
I think that would be a failed marriage.
All right.
Because I think for some people, divorce is like the best thing they haven't done.
Absolutely.
No, like not them individually, but like them as two people. Them divorcing one another was the best thing that happened. Okay.
Absolutely. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
We got a whole presentation.
Yes.
That we're going to present today.
That has a different title.
Okay.
It does.
Treat your relationship like a business for success.
Okay.
I just put treat your, to save on some words for the whole title thing. But hey, we good. Now let's do this way. Where did we go?
I don't know.
There we go.
You done moved us off the screen.
Let's do this like this. All right. So let's drive this. Business teacher lead the way.
I should have predicted that that was gonna go there.
It's all good.
Blocking my little picture, but hey, it is what it is. All right, so y'all, today on Treat Your Relationship Like a Business for Success, we have several key points that we're going to go over. First, we're going to talk about why. Why are you in this relationship? Why should you be looking at it from the aspect of it being a business? Then we're going to take a look at what all businesses should have, especially if you are drafting a business plan. You need to have a vision and a mission. And like I tell my students all the time, we are in a free enterprise economy, so you can start a business without having a business plan. However, the moment you want someone to invest in your business and truly invest in what you're offering, you need to be able to present them with a business plan. And no business plan is complete unless you were able to map out what the vision is of that company. Where is it going to go? What is it going to look like? And you're able to state its mission. What do you plan on accomplishing? Number 3, come on. 3 is my favorite number. We have to have the most important thing there for number 3, which is communication. Communication is essential. And then we're going to go to any other job duties that you would have. We got to break down the roles and responsibilities, talk about what wins look like and when we need to celebrate them. And then we just going to give you a little, ending right there with our contact information, because you need to know all the things. And then we'll be out of your hair for the evening. So let's go ahead and jump in. The why, right? So it's 2024, almost 2025. Like, that's crazy to think about, first of all. It's almost 2025. And the greatest question that we need to be asking ourselves is, why are we in relationships? What do we plan on accomplishing as we are in said relationships? Where do we want them to go? And why? Like, what do we want to accomplish? And I think one of the greatest things that I had to take into consideration when creating this is businesses allow for, like, when you look at a traditional business, you're able to see how it grows, how it expands, how it takes on life, and how it can transform. And that is what a relationship should look like. A relationship should look like easily identifiable moments of growth. There may be some difficulty, but how did you transition and move past that? All of that should be evident as you're looking at any type of business. So why wouldn't you have the same thing happening in a relationship? And I think that's where some people fail, that they believe that relationships, oh, this is going to hurt, that relationships are just built on love and love alone, and that love is going to carry me. I'm going to be magical and like everything will be fine. No, like you have to put in work. I can love to bake and I can think it's an amazing thing and that I want to spend the rest of my life doing it. But if I'm not putting in any work in that baking and running my business will fail. Same thing like a relationship. If I don't put in any work into my relationship, that relationship is not going to find any type of success.
Okay, now the second point that's on here and something that you talked about as well. It says relationships and businesses both thrive on mutual goals, clear communication, and shared values. Taking a look at teams, though, that are successful, you have one coach. That coach gives the vision. So, is it a mutual vision that we share that would have the relationship be successful, like a business? Or is it, one person driving it and the other person getting on board?
I am about to irritate a lot of people with this comment. Okay.
Okay.
So, again, coming back to the business model. So, one thing that I teach in my advanced business management class are the different types of business classifications. So, we have the sole proprietorship, which, as its name implies, is one person
Yep.
who is in control of it. We also have the partnership, which would be two or more people who have a share in the company. It doesn't have to be an equal share. It just has to be a share.
Okay.
It could be three people. One person got 97%, another person got 2%, and the third person got 1%. Whatever. That's still a partnership. And then you have your corporation, which has
Many
different owners and entities. You have your LLCs, your LLPs, all of that good stuff. But specifically focusing on a sole prop, which again is a sole proprietorship, or that partnership, that's what you're asking, right? So
Yes.
as you make the analogy and the reference to basketball or to any sports team and the coach mentality, you're looking at a sole prop. That's the equivalent of a sole prop. However,
Say it.
for relationships to be successful, there needs to be a partnership, even if it's not an equitable distribution of said partnership.
What does that last part mean?
So, what that means is, again, the definition of a partnership is that you have two or more owners who have a stake in the company.
Mm-hmm.
It does not have to be an equal share. They just have to both have a share. So again, it could be the two of us in business together. Both of our names are on the documents and it's a 60-40 split or a 70-30 split or a 99-1 split. It doesn't matter how the split happens. It just matters that it's two of us and we have a share. So it can't just be two of us and it's 100-0. That doesn't count. That's not a partnership. A partnership, again, is defined as two people two or more who have a share in the company. That's what a relationship has to look like. Not the or more, but for us, two people who who have yeah, you caught that. Mm-hmm. Two people.
I was gonna let it actually slide, but you put emphasis on it.
Two people who have who are invested in the company, in the relationship, and we both have a stake in it, even if it's not equal. So even if we want to put this in terms of business where you are the head, you are the leader, so it's 60-40 or however we want that to look, whatever it may be, that's what a relationship needs to resemble. It can't be a sole prop. A sole prop in terms of a relationship would look more like a dictatorship.
Get on my plan. Absolutely. I'm just playing.
But so even with that, again, a sole prop is literally one person. That's not that's a relationship with you and Jesus. Like that's what that is at that point, because you're not in a relationship with another person. Well, by definition, because of what a sole prop is, you can't be in a relationship with anyone. It's just you alone.
I was going to see if I could find a way to prove that just to be funny, but actually I agree. I agree. Now, to close out the why, part of why businesses fail is that businesses don't understand their why. And it works the same way in the relationship. Understand your why. Define your why. as time goes along, it is important to restate your why. You can't just assume that somebody's going to just be on board fully when life happens, job opportunities come up, family life decisions need to be made, right? People want to say through thick and thin, but as we can see, sometimes that thick and thin comes with conditions.
And it's funny, you said something that I just want to take a moment to highlight again. This is something that I tell all of my students all the time. 50% of businesses fail within their first 5 years of operation.
It's eerily similar to divorce stats.
Divorce rates, exactly.
Yo.
50% of businesses fail within their first 5 years of operation. And it does not matter what the field is, what the industry is, it does not matter. It doesn't matter location, just in general. If you were to go over to what is the SBA.gov. If you go over to SBA.gov and you check out their statistics, you can see what the success rate is of businesses. And that shit is what it is. During COVID, some businesses thrived. Hello, Uber Eats. Hello, DoorDash. Hello, Instacart. And then you had other businesses that failed. We know plenty of restaurants, especially all the vegan ones, that have failed since COVID. It's just a thing. 50% of businesses fail. Like, there is no formula. And to be fair, failure does not mean that they ran into monetary issues or anything like that. Failure could mean that they just realized that it was more work to stay in business than to not be in business.
And we know actually a particular business that supports us as well. And I wouldn't call her business a failure.
Yeah.
There were threats to the business that came up that made it difficult to overcome. But the person's business model was sound. Food was delicious.
Man, you just said threats, and that made me realize I forgot to put a SWOT analysis in there. Oh, that would have been so perfect.
All right. So we've talked about the why. Let's get to the clear vision, mission statement and what that means.
All right. So again, any company that you have is going to have a vision statement. Where do you see yourself going as a company? How do you want to make an impact on the world around you? That's what we think of when we think of a vision statement for a business. So likewise, as we're looking at a vision statement for a relationship, where do we see ourselves in 10 years? Like, again, you're looking into the future. You're looking to see where you want to go. Where do I see us in our relationship 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Those are things that we have to ask ourselves, because as we're asking ourselves those questions, it helps us to determine, one, are we compatible for one another? Like, what if you saw yourself 10 years from now living in some on some remote, because I just learned this today. So what if you're living in that part of Alaska that doesn't get sun for 2 months starting today, and you're like, that's where I want to go. Like, I've always dreamt of living in the dark, so I just want to go live there. And I'm like, wait a minute, homie, no, like, I got seasonal depression. Like, I can't be going out there and living in, like, I'm joking, but that does give you the opportunity to see if your values align with what the other person has in mind. That's why you have to make sure, like, your vision is on point with one another.
Hey, you got somebody that agrees. Shout out to Tammy on Facebook that said, yep. We also got Pete in the building as well. Let me acknowledge Pete. Huge friend, huge supporter as well. Pete also said a lot of people get into restaurants and have no idea what they do. They think because they cook at home or see it on TV that they could do it, but that's far from the truth. And that's the same when it comes to having a successful relationship as well. Because look, let's keep it a buck. If you wanted something short transactional things aren't hard. That's not bad at all. You can have short non-transactional. You can have short transactional. That's not hard. People want to say that relationships are work and that they're hard. I don't think that they need to be as hard as people make it out to be. It just requires some upfront work, and don't excuse or tolerate BS when it happens. Plain and simple. Too often, the things that you tolerate happens early in the relationship, and instead of fixing it, you just overlook it because either you're scared to put in the work, or I know she's gonna trip about that and I don't want to hear her mouth, or he's gonna have something to say about this, so I'm just gonna keep quiet. No, do the hard thing, address it early, because if you don't have that clear vision, and your relationship is going to fail. Absolutely.
All right, awesome. I completely agree. I think that when we look at people, you'll see something happening with people around you. Like, let's go back some years to when Sierra and Russell Wilson got together. Every woman around the country was like, Sierra, what did you pray? Like, we want to be able to get our Russell. We want to be able to get our Russell. And it's like, we see something and we're like, I see it thriving on social media, so I want a taste of that. And you have no clue the amount of background work that goes into getting that.
Like, no, I'm not going to say that. Shout out to Russell Wilson. I was about to say something. I don't know him personally. I'll let that one go. Now, you've got examples on here.
We can kind of skip over that. Okay. It sounded good in the moment.
Okay.
We can skip it.
No doubt.
All right. So, mission statement. What is a mission statement, Mr. MBA? What's the mission statement?
All right. If I were to give, you're asking me what is a mission statement or what is our mission statement?
Ooh, either. Okay. Just tell me which one you're saying.
All right. A mission statement is an overall, it can either be a goal or just an overall mission put succinctly into a sentence that drives all of the decisions that your business does. For this relationship, an example of our mission statement could be Michelle and I want to engage in a long-term monogamous relationship that is both entertaining and prosperous throughout our lives together. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It's not a clear thing. It is just an overall mission statement that then you make decisions from that align to that mission statement.
Yeah, so that's the core thing to understand as you are looking at treating your relationship like a business in order for it to be successful. The whole point of a mission statement is this is a goal. This is what you plan on doing. And then everything else. So again, when you start, not necessarily when you start a business, but in general, when you're mapping out your business plan, the vision and the mission statement, they go at the front. They go at the beginning of that business plan. And the reason why they go at the beginning of that business plan is because everything that you talk about in every single subsequent page after that is going to tie back to that mission statement and that vision, and it'll help others be able to understand how you plan on executing that. So my goal for this business, my goal for this relationship, my mission is for us to do X, Y, and Z. And now let me spend however many pages follow telling you how exactly we're going to do that, how we're going to put in all the stuff. So we have told you what our mission is and what our vision is. We desire to have a successful and prosperous, monogamous, heavy emphasis on monogamous, meaning just us, okay? Just us, monogamous relationship that carries us well into our old age and be able to build and grow upon what we already have and the investments that we've already put into this relationship. So this is how we're going to do it. Let's go in.
Right. Communication and conflict resolution.
I don't want to say like we talk about this ad nauseum, but we definitely do talk about effective communication a lot.
It's our main thing, and we display it in our lives daily. Yeah. One of the things I think, and I'm going to speak for me on how I think Michelle thinks. Ooh. I think Michelle thinks that we don't communicate enough. I think
not
we communicate too
true.
much.
That's not true. I don't think that we don't communicate enough. I just thrive off of a lot of communication.
Okay.
I am the type of person who thrives off of constructive criticism. And you know that because I wrote about that in a blog like 2 weeks ago. I am someone who believes that gray areas are a thing and they can exist when your primary mode of communication is through written communication.
Okay.
I believe that gray areas are a thing and they hinder the success of relationships. As such, I do like to communicate and make sure that I'm effectively communicating. That way, there are no blurred lines. And then I really do have ADHD. So sometimes I think I say something in a way that is succinct and that it makes sense to other people. And then, like, I'll have people like my students come back and they're like, Ms. Early, no, that didn't make sense, or you didn't say it. Cause, like, I thought I said it, but it turns out I didn't. So, my over communication is just a way to ensure that I've communicated enough.
Okay. If you do that, can it be a bit much? Like, I'm just asking.
I guess that's a question for you, not me.
Well, not for me, no, but I was wondering if it's ever been said to you.
I don't know if it's been said to me explicitly, but what I have noticed in the past, so I told you before, I learned this term when I had this like friend thing, sapiosexual. So someone who they are turned on by or they're heavily attracted to um, intellectual conversations and stimulating conversations and just the mind and everything like that. I am someone who thrives off of being able to have intelligent conversations and not just those superficial, well, let's talk about the weather type things. Like, I'm not that type of person. And I need to be able to have that level of dialogue with anyone that I am in any type of ship with, any type of relationship with. So, friendship, work relationship, anything like that, I need to be able to have fulfilling, meaty conversations, or else it's a waste of time. And yeah.
So if I hit you with an E equals MC square, does that turn you wrong?
I love Come on, Albert, let's do this. Albert Einstein, for those of y'all who didn't get E equals MC squared, because we're nerds like that. You know, I thought about that when we were on like one of the other slides. I was like, this is such a nerd fest right now for business stuff. Like, this is like this. What we're doing this right now is such a nerd fest, and I love it.
It is. And to go back to what we said earlier, imagine just going through your business without a plan. It's going to fail, right? So I can hear some men going, King, this is too much. This is too much. I don't want to do all of this. I'm going to say, then look at your relationship and ask yourself, is it going well?
So, which I will say, because I feel like there's going to be some woman who is going to say the exact same thing. And respectfully, I say this. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me
do it.
I gotta, because that is something. I had my same two students who are like, Miss Early, your delivery. And I was like, okay, all right, so hold on. Let me center myself. Women, this whole content, it may seem like a lot, but I need you to really focus and think. You've done less than this. Has it worked? So respectfully, right? Respectfully. And I'm saying this about y'all and I'm saying this about me, but to bring it in together, right? I'm from Baltimore. We all know that Oprah in her 30s was fired from a news station in Baltimore where she was working there. It was that firing that led to Oprah putting in that work in her 40s to become the Oprah that we know today. Oprah put in work. Oprah sat down somewhere and she drafted out herself a good little old business plan to be able to get to the success where she is now. We look up to Oprah for everything. We as women, regardless of our race, regardless of our gender, whatever, we all look up to Oprah because she is just like this level of elite that we all desire to be. Sis had a business plan. Sis has a business plan. So again, if that is what you were measuring success by, and she used the business plan to find it, why would you think that that's not something you need to do in every aspect of your life? And again, for those of you who are like, okay, well, Oprah's not married. Yeah, but she's been with a man this entire time and they're still happily together. And then if you want someone who has been in a successful relationship, I do say go back to Sierra. She had a plan. Her plan was prayer and she put in the work. So she had a mission. Her mission was to be married and have a family. And then she spent her time mapping out how she was going to be able to get there. And it started with prayer, it started with all these other things. And then she got there and she is putting in the work. So while you may not have anyone who sits here and puts it out plain like this, that doesn't negate the fact that people actually do it. So don't knock it till you tried it. And if you're like me and you've tried everything else, then hey, why not try this? Because you just might find some success with it.
No doubt. Now, I know we're on the communication slide, but sticking to what you just said, I think that's what we're looking at when we observe what's going on with both men and women in their 20s transitioning into their 30s, which is more of our demographic. A lot of our demographic are people 30 and over. Is you get through your 20s, okay, you're still learning, but at the same time, you don't really have a plan. Those that observationally are getting what they desire are those that had a plan in their 20s, that rocked with that transition going from their 20s to their 30s and made it work because they had a plan. I can raise my hand and say that for my marriage, I did not have a plan. I don't think I vocalized what I wanted to try to do going forward. And it failed because of that, right? That's how I would look at that anyway. So I can say that not having that plan, I realized after the fact, was a mistake that I am not allowing to happen again. Because he who fails to plan, plans to fail.
Exactly. I've always loved that. Yes.
All right. Now let's get back to communication and conflict resolution. There's a thing on here that talks about having protocols for conflict, listening, problem solving, and moving forward. We demonstrated that in our personal lives over the last couple of weeks, where we had some conflict that we had to deal with. And in my opinion, we followed the things that we talked about on this live stream to see if we were on the same page about things going forward, right? We've been together for 2 years. People think that you're my wife, first of all, because of how we communicate, how we carry ourselves, how we present each other going forward. Somebody called you Mrs. Smith, the whole MRS. You got your whole MRS degree.
I'm saying.
The other day.
I thought we were married. We're not.
And it's one of those things that we don't just talk about having protocols and not doing it. We did this in our real lives over the last month.
Yeah.
And we were able to have success because we talked about how we would deal with conflict. That if one of us has something to say, state it, right? That if I have something to say, but I might not know how to state it, give me time and I will state it.
Right.
And I want to do that because I'm invested in the relationship and I want the relationship to work. Yet, there could be a checks and balance point where either you don't like what I have to say or vice versa, to where we then have to ask ourselves, well, can this relationship work if the other person stated this and I can't do that, or I can't tolerate that, right?
Okay.
So having those protocols in place is definitely something that you need to ensure that you have beforehand, because trying to do it after the fact is almost impossible.
Yeah. I think when it comes to conflict, acknowledgement goes a long way. So, number one, the person who enters a relationship and they're like, I'm never going to get into an argument with you. I love you too much to ever argue with you.
Throw that
Come
person away.
on. Like, I believe in positivity, yet I will never ever claim to be an optimist. However, I'm also not a pessimist. I believe that I'm somewhere in the middle. I am that realist who understands that life happens and you have to be able to ebb and flow with the way that life goes. That was rhymes. Ebb and flow with the way that life goes. I love it.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Pete said, put a ring on it already. Pete, you
If
paying
you like
for that
it, then
ring?
you should have put a ring on it. If you like it, then you should have put it. Sorry. It just felt like it was a good time to break into song.
Now, the last thing that we have on here to talk about: practice transparency, honesty, and a no blame approach. 3 things that I'm going to tell you right now, vital. And look, transparency is tough. It's tough. You will hear many men talk about how they were transparent and open, and how the person that they were transparent and open to in an argument turned around and used that later on. I'm choosing to make the approach and say, I will be transparent. I will be open. And if you ever do that, this relationship is done. I don't give no second chance on that one. Okay. I've had it happen before. It burned me. I knew what that felt like. And I said never again. Now, I've stated that up front, so you know the parameters for that, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to sit here and say that being open and transparent is easy. It's not. You have to be somebody that's comfortable with who you are to be able to do that. I see too many times on Reddit, people are saying that their person that they're with, they're phenomenal, they're great, but they have this insecurity. But they seem to be hiding something. That speaks to transparency issues. I believe that if you're transparent about everything, either you're on board with who that person is at their core or you're not. And that's okay. You don't have to make something work just because. Oh, well, I'm lonely, or I'll never get another person like this. Whole lot of billion of people on this earth, you can.
So, just speaking of transparency really quickly, 2 quick things. So, number one, King and I were very open and very transparent with one another when we first got together. Not even when we first got together, when we first met one another, we shared everything. Like, that's part of why people thought that we were together long before we got together, because we shared everything with one another. He knew all about my past, everything that I've been through. I knew about his. Like, we had all of that ironed out before we were even officially a couple. So that is something that it's crucial. Like, you definitely need to always know what you're getting into. Any level of business that you're doing with someone, you should always know what to expect. And that just pulls on that transparency. Yeah. So you have companies, like, especially because a nonprofit is still a type of business. So nonprofit organizations run on a level of transparency. They have to always fully disclose their finances, where they're getting things from. I work for a school system and everything is public because it is a public school system. Public funds means that the public needs to have access to everything. That is how your relationship with your partner should be. There should be no secrets. There should be nothing that is a gotcha that they're finding out about later on. Full transparency works for the overall success of the relationship.
So you be all right in 10 years if the kid in Asia that I had, no, I'm joking. Now, the other thing that we have on here is no blame.
Yeah.
No blame.
So
I think we do
no
a good
blame.
job of not blaming the other person.
Yeah.
Going like, well, I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn how to not fully talk about the issues or things that I would perceive as something, and just saying, well, you, and reframe it in a manner and try to say, well, when this happens,
I feel.
this is how this impacts me.
feel statements. You were trying real hard not to say I feel. Just say
Because
it.
I don't like
Just
I feel
say it.
statements.
Just say it. It'll make you feel so
No.
much better. I
No.
feel.
No, I don't like you can get to what you need to do without saying I feel. You can say when X happens, Y is impacted.
I feel. I feel that you are not accepting how you feel about certain situations that happen.
No. Next slide.
Roles and responsibilities. Oh, I love it. I love it. If you're looking at the prospectus for any company or any business plan that you are seeing that's presented before you, one thing that you're going to see is a breakdown of who the company needs to have within them, within their body, to be able to function and to be able to find success. Because again, like I tell my students, you don't need a business plan unless you are asking other people for money, right? If it's just you, you're going out there. Who's asking for said business plan? No one. So you don't need one. But if you're the type of person who needs to map everything out so you can see it, then do it so that you can lay the foundation and understand where you're going. But one of the things that you have to understand is that human resource is the greatest resource that we have. So there are three different. He's looking like this because he's like, oh, wow, she really is a business teacher. Like, she really does know what she's talking about.
Oh, no, I'm waiting for you to go stop because I'm going to hit you with some stuff.
Oh, goodness.
I'm listening intently. Keep going.
Anyway.
Please keep going.
Three different types of resources: natural, human, and capital goods. Human resources are always going to be your most important and most valuable resource that you have within the company. So when you're looking at roles and responsibilities, you have to be willing to, at the beginning, map out what roles and responsibilities are going to be. And the way you would go, just talk, because I need to hear this.
Finish what
I'm
you have
finished.
to say.
I am finished. I have nothing left. Go.
What's our roles and responsibilities?
Oh, goodness. Here he goes.
Because in this relationship, I'm the CEO. How does that? Do you have an I feel statement for that?
I feel like I am the COO. And if you don't know, the COO runs things. Chief Operating Officer.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Who's the COO of Microsoft?
Who knows? But he's the one that makes it work.
But you know who the CEO is.
I sure do. But you know what? He's the one that makes things work. You don't need to know that person's name. I don't even know the COO of my company that I work for. But I know that they're the ones that make things work.
In a relationship,
they're the front bear. In a relationship, the CEO is the person who's bearing the face of everything, but things literally can't operate if that COO is not making it happen.
By that definition, if the relationship doesn't work, is the CEO still getting blamed?
Of course.
No.
The captain goes down with the ship. What are you talking about?
No.
Yes. That's the way that it goes.
Free T said, period, Michelle. We just let them think they run it.
Thank you, sis, for understanding. We COOs out in this piece.
And the CEO runs it.
The CEO is the face of the company.
And that runs it.
And they bear they get all the praise, and they also get all of the problems.
What do y'all think about that?
Go ahead.
For those of y'all that are watching live and those of y'all that are going to catch this on the replay or our shorts, tell me what you think. Would love to know.
Is it the CEO who runs the company or the COO who runs it?
Okay.
Who runs the world?
I like it. I like it. I like the dialogue.
Thank you. Thank you, baby.
Now,
You little petty.
I'm glad that you can read my faces. You talk about, or you have on the slide, share household and financial responsibilities in a way that they are balanced. What does that mean?
Oh, sorry, you caught me with yawn. I
My
apologize.
bad. My bad.
Just came out of nowhere. So again, going back to the definition of a partnership does not have to be an equal 50-50 split. We are not by any means telling you how you need to divide the workload and financial responsibility in your household. But what we are saying is that there should be a conversation of how things are going to flow out. So you should go ahead and divide how each one of you in your relationship are going to contribute and do things. So you could say, well, he earns the big salary. So because he earns the big salary, he gonna pay all the big bills. And your salary is going to cover this, this, and this. But actually, I think I said that wrong because in my head, I feel like I said that wrong. It's not I determine who's going to pay what. It's not a king determines who's going to pay what. It's a conversation that we have between the two of us to decide what's best for the two of us.
I agree. There is somebody in a private group that I'm in that shared that he works 2 jobs and he's with a woman who, between them, there's 4 kids. And he talked about how when he comes home, the house is a mess. He has to beg for a hot meal, yada yada. And he said, am I wrong for being upset that I'm not getting that? And I had to tell the young brother straight up, I said, young man, you're not wrong to feel that, but you are wrong for not laying down the law. Now, I said that he was with this person. They're not married. And when I said that there was 4 kids between them, some of the kids weren't his.
I have to say 3 are probably
So
the way you were saying it.
I had to tell him, I said, look, you've accepted and tolerated. Y'all, that's my word, tolerate. This man has accepted and tolerated something from somebody that if I were to treat their relationship like a business, he brought nothing but a liability into that household and is getting no asset from that person whatsoever. But that person is getting all the assets in his time, in his resources, in his attention, and he's not gaining anything. He's operating at a deficit, working 2 jobs just to provide, to not be able to state that, hey, I'd like to ensure that, this is like this. And he's even stated and said, it's not like he doesn't do anything. He goes, I will then come home and still do X, Y, and Z. But this person who works a part-time job because she wants to, not because they need to, but she wants to, is saying that she's tired and doesn't have the energy. And I'm like, bro, you work 14-hour days, come home and still do X, Y, and Z. You're tolerating bad behavior, and she doesn't think that you won't do anything about it. Therefore, you're cooked.
Not even tolerating, you're promoting a culture of bad behavior. So what I will say is this. Some people, not us, but some people look at a stay-at-home partner, and I'll just say that, whether it's a husband, whether it's a wife, some people look at the stay-at-home partner and feel that that position is less than the person who goes to work. The reality is, again, in a partnership, by the definition of a partnership, it is 2 or more people who have a share within a company. It does not have to be equal. So what that means is you can have one person who goes out and they are the sole paycheck earner. But again, the partnership means that that other person is doing something. So if you have one person who is going out and they are earning all the money to be able to pay all the bills, then that other person does need to be doing something in the home to take care of it and to make sure that the home functions. Because if the home is not functioning properly, then that person who's going out and doing all the work, they're not going to be in a place where they're going to be able to work effectively. And that has to happen in a partnership. It has to happen where both parties are doing what they're supposed to be doing, because both of them have a share, both of them have stake, excuse me, in the company, and both of them bear a side of liability within everything that happens in that company. So to say that you just gonna let your partner go out and work all day and then come home and still find the home a mess when that is your contribution to the relationship is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yep. Now, Free T put up this comment and said, I know a married couple and he pays all the bills, plus gives his wife a weekly allowance. She takes care of the home. She puts, I like it, and a laughing emoji. Look,
So do
I
I.
guarantee that they communicated what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And they both agreed to what that would look like. I don't have an issue with that dynamic if that's what Michelle and I talk about, and that's what Michelle and I agree upon. There's a content creator who recently went viral. She's been doing content for like 3 years now, but she was prior married, prior military. Her husband was prior married, prior military. They're in like an age gap relationship. He's in his 50s, she's in her 30s. She went viral because the headline said, my husband gives me $100 a week allowance. And that's what the headline read. But what the headline and what the story didn't talk about was that this person, the lady, Allie, is a successful content creator that gets AdSense revenue and things like that from the content that she does, and that her husband provided for her and invested in her to be able to do that. And what she talks about is being a trad con type of wife, where she's like, I want to be in a traditional household where my man is the sole provider. I am under him, under his protection, under his covering, all of that jazz. She wants for nothing. She gets what she wants and what she needs. But people were so hung up on her husband gives her $100 a week allowance. She don't really need that $100 a week allowance because she's a successful content creator herself. But even if she wasn't, and that's what they agreed on, there's no issue with that.
Baby, give me an allowance and let me stay home. I'll be fine. I'll be honest, that $100 will probably be like a donation to someone else. But whatever.
No, I'm not giving you $100 to donate to somebody else.
But it's my allowance. I can do with it what I would like. Nope. Once you give it to me, it's mine. It's mine.
Then it would be in the agreed upon thing that I'm invested in you. I'm not invested in other people. If I want to donate in other people, we can donate in other people together.
You don't think I'd put your name on it?
I'm not
be like
working.
From the Smiths.
I'm not working to donate to other people like that. I'm donating charities? To you.
What about charity?
That is already a line item.
What if I feel like the line item to charity should be higher?
Then we will have a discussion, and if that is what it comes to, then it'll come to that. But the allowance to you isn't for you to. Ooh.
Go ahead. No. Finish your statement.
I was going to say that the allowance to you isn't for you to just do whatever.
But isn't that exactly what an allowance is?
But that is what it's for. Okay. Let's see. Free T said, the Smiths. I like the sound of that, Shell. Now, going over to what do we have here? Continuous improvements and celebrating the wins.
All right. So one of the biggest things that I think, and we've talked about this several times, one of the biggest things that I think people forget is that in the word a relationship, there is that object, that noun that we're familiar with, a ship, right? And the whole purpose of a ship is that it is supposed to transport you from point A to point B.
Like a train?
Like a train, honey, but it's not train, it's relationship.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be able to transport you, which means that you should be going somewhere in the relationship. As we stated at the beginning, when you are in a relationship at the beginning, you state what your mission is going to be, and then you travel to that destination. Same thing with a relationship. You set your intentions and then you travel to that destination. Y'all should be going together. So when we're looking at continuous improvement, that means we're continuing to grow together. We're continuing to look at ways that we can be better together. Maybe we're doing individual things, but again, the overall premise of everything that we're doing, the overall intent of what we are doing is to do it together, to find success together. It's not an individual, it's a together.
And make yourself an asset. Literally, if you have to look over at somebody and go, why are you here? That person is a liability, and you can look at dropping that liability ASAPidly.
But see, here's where that business reference doesn't go into play, because assets plus liability equals owner's equity, ALO, something I tell my kids all the time. In order for us to have a balanced equation of things that are happening, there does have to be a level of a liability that exists within a relationship.
A healthy liability,
a
absolutely.
healthy liability. So we can't just outright say you can't have any. We can't just say you can't have any liabilities. I get so distracted with comments.
I can't wait to see free tea over Christmas.
I know, right? A relation yacht. Yes. Speak it. There has to be a level of vulnerability. There has to be a level of liability, because it's literally in the mathematical equation of finding success within a business. But again, you have to be willing to grow in a relationship. That person who is not willing to grow, it's going to be detrimental to the relationship. And then again, be willing to grow at the same rate. It is okay if King wants to do something and I'm not necessarily there. But if that is where King is headed and I'm not willing to at least try, at least grow with him, that's going to cause problems in our relationship. We have to be willing to grow together. Growing at different rates leads to growing apart. And that's problematic in any relationship, including a business.
No doubt. Is there anything else that we need to cover on this before we close?
Yes, celebrating the wins. So one of the things that I learned, and it's something that you're taught all the time in any type of
leadership,
any leadership that you're doing, right? You have to be able to celebrate the wins. Don't just have like some lofty mission that is whatever away, so far away that you don't look at the little incremental things. You have to be able to celebrate the incremental things. So, hey, we had a great week today. I had a wonderful weekend with you. Thank you so much for taking me to somewhere that I've been dreaming about going for 5 years and making it such a special moment.
You're welcome, babe. I enjoyed my time and I was happy to do it.
And that's real, right? We really did do something. And hopefully you saw our video earlier to understand what that something was that we did. But celebrating the wins, everything doesn't have to be this big, elaborate thing. We celebrated a win today that we are streaming on LinkedIn. Celebrate the wins in your relationship. Don't think that we do this live stream every week and it would be devastating for our relationship and for our overall morale if we only celebrated when we hit big milestones. We're only going to celebrate when we get to 100,000 on YouTube, or we're only going to celebrate when we get to 1 million on TikTok, and we're claiming these things. We're speaking life over these things and claiming them right now. It would be really poor judgment of us to only celebrate those things. No, we need to celebrate the incremental moments, the moments where we get to come here weekly with y'all, with our family, and just be able to cut up with y'all and hang out and just have fun. Celebrate the little wins that come along in your relationship. As you two are together in your partnership, in your relationship, take that moment to celebrate the little things. Don't put that bottle of wine, champagne, or special whatever. Don't leave it on the shelf for that special moment. Any moment that you have with that person is special. Celebrate.
No doubt. I like to add to that.
Yes.
Having an understanding of the people in your business and what motivates them is vital as well. So when you're talking about celebrating the wins, understanding people's love language. I used to think that the love languages were stupid, but then
Didn't he met me?
when you understand, no,
I'm kidding.
okay.
I'm kidding.
But when you understand what they mean at the core and how to apply it,
Mm-hmm.
it works in your favor to understand how the people in your business, how they're motivated, and in a relationship, how the other person is motivated. Like celebrating your wins. If the other person's love language is words of affirmation, then celebrating your win could simply mean giving that, hey, I really appreciate what you did. If acts of service is that person's love language, you can celebrate the win by rubbing his or her feet later on and then saying, hey, thank you for today, and rub their feet, right? Or do other things.
Oh goodness. No clue to what he is referencing.
So understanding that and using that to celebrate the win goes a long way that people just sometimes overlook.
Yeah.
And forget to do. Free T said, hey, I like that. 100K and 1 million. Let's go. Hey, you know what? She could be our coach that helps us understand how to unlock that and manifest it. Yes. We should talk over Christmas. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you if you can make the time for us.
Yes, please make time for us.
Please make time for us.
Thank you.
Okay, so look, we're putting our information up here. We're not hard to find. I'm on social media.
So often. Am I.
Mm-hmm. And Michelle is as well. You can find me individually at the actual King Smith. We have our link tree that's in the description on all of the platforms that will have a description. And Michelle is at God Happened to Me. We've had some people reach out and ask questions and talk about things. I've offered advice the best way that I can. And I don't mind doing it. We're not experts. We're choosing as two individuals to share our relationship online to strangers, family, and friends. This could work out well for us, or it could be bad. Time will tell. But we definitely don't mind talking about things, sharing things. We've met some other couples as well. Shout out to John and Nicole on Better Than Perfect podcast. They do a really good product themselves as content creators and people that also like to talk about this. One exception is they're married. So
I thought we were.
Hey, according to other people, you got your whole MRS degree.
No, I'll put in that work.
Free T said, King, I'm still waiting on my advice from you. I got you. I got you. Now I believe that's it.
Wait, can we highlight that comment? Because Michelle gave her hers. All right, okay, I'm done.
See what had happened was. Yeah. All right, so our last slide here says thanks for watching, and the one after that just says nothing.
I thought that was cool because I use Canva. So it had literally that slide at the end where you could be able to pull all the icons that you need to be able to incorporate in the rest of it.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Fancy schmancy pants.
So first of all, thank you for putting this together.
Thank you for forcing me. See, this is exactly what happens. The CEO has a vision and the COO brings it to fruition. Okay.
You know what? That's a great point.
Bam!
I'm also going to tell you why I like this relationship. Early on, I told you that one of the things that I valued as we were getting to know each other was that when we made the decision to go from friends to more than friends, I literally said, I see Michelle as more of an asset. Straight up to her. Aww. The most unromantic thing, or depending on the person, romantic thing that you can say to somebody is, look, I view you as an asset. Right now, I'm doing things that without you, I'm straight. With you, I can do other things and still be straight. But if you decide to be a whole liability in the worst way,
if you're an anchor,
or a blocking point to this train that's going this way. Train's moving, train's going, and if you decide to be a boulder that's weighing this train down, you can hop off at any time. I've always said that.
He has.
I've always said that. Now, Michelle has been an asset. I saw that early on, and when we decided to make this thing work, we communicated what we both need individually for this relationship to work, and what if they occurred could make the relationship fail. It is my opinion that the Better Business Bureau would rate this relationship as an A because we've implemented the things that we have in our plan, and so far it's working.
Okay.
Anything else that you want to add before we close out?
Just two quick things. So one, that is a gray hair. That is a gray hair. Come on. And then number two, so I have been drinking water because there was a moment when I came over here that I just passed out because I was in meetings and I was tired and I've been talking a lot. And here's the issue. As I'm sipping on this water.
Oh, here we go. This should be good.
Oh, see, I think you think I'm about to say something prophetic, but technically I am. Why is this not a branded King and M.E cup? Like, why are we not drinking from branded merchandise? This is an issue. Number one, why are we not drinking from like our own merchandise? Number two, along the same lines, why are we not retailing our own merchandise?
Why do we not have King and M.E ties right now?
Why don't we?
Hey, Pete said, you're not just an A. You guys are A pluses.
Oh, yay, A plus.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, my man.
Thank you.
No, we definitely need to get some King and M.E cups.
Need to get some
absolutely.
Merch. Yeah, like we need to get some like real merch out here going. Because that, like, we could do that every episode.
Yeah. And look, folks don't know, like, I have the same attire because I work from home. I'm typically wearing two things: basketball shorts on the bottom and a King and M.E shirt on top. When I go out, I'm rocking a King and M.E shirt, right? I do that for a couple of reasons. One, just awareness, right? Hey, so what's the King and M.E?
That was a really good logo.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. The King and M.E Show is a podcast where me and Michelle offer a real outlook on healthy relationship. You can check us out live Mondays at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah.
Right? But then also the second thing, and I think that this would be what Michelle would say. Michelle would say something along the effects of, I need y'all people to know that that's my man. So y'all, thanks for tuning in. I know we're sitting on opposite sides.
It's so weird because you can't even I have to turn for you to see my nose ring.
I'm gonna need for y'all to not be in the comments talking about and hyping each other up. She said merch is a smart business move. Who run this? Michelle.
The COO, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The chief operating officer makes it happen, and the CEO gets all the credit for it later. I have no problem doing all the things so that you can get the credit for it later, because that's what we do. Like, we boost our man.
That's what's up. I like it. All right, y'all. This has been another episode of the King and M.E Show. We wanted to do something a little bit different this week.
Yeah.
And
it was fun.
I had fun with it.
I am a business teacher. Like, that is my profession by day. Again, like King said, we're businessy people, both owning a business, a small business, and then Mr. MBA himself. Bachelor's in finance. Like, this is literally what we do for a living. I love this. This was really, really fun.
No doubt.
Good job, baby. Yes.
All right. Well, hey, look, again, if you hadn't hit the like button, do us a favor, mash that like button. That helps us out on the algorithms. Next week is the Monday before Thanksgiving. We are going to be live for next week as well. We don't already have what we're going to be talking about, but that'll get figured out.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, we put out a vlog of what we did over the weekend on TikTok, our Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn will see that tomorrow sometime.
They'll see it.
So if you haven't watched that, check it out. We're on Spotify. If you are people that watch or listen to Spotify, or you can actually watch on Spotify too, go over and follow us over there as well. Even if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a follow on Spotify.
But wherever you go, just share. So it takes nothing but like 30 seconds, not even, maybe like 15, to just hit that share button, share that content, get it out there so that others can see too, especially this episode because it was businessy.
And don't let this tie fool you. If you don't share, I'm going to come find you and we're going to have some problems. You know what I'm talking about? All right, y'all. I'm out. This has been fun. Peace.
Bye,
Bye, y'all.